Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 42. God calls USA the daughter of Babylon. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. The United States of America was born out of England from the Revolutionary War. Notice England has the sign of a lion, and the United States has the sign of an eagle. Daniel chapter 7, verse 4. The first was like a lion, had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked up, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. This is Babylon of old. This is the first empire. This is what Daniel saw. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. This was the Medo-Persian Empire. After this I looked, and lo, another like a leopard, which had the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. This was the Grecian Empire. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, had great iron teeth, and had devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the feet with the residue of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. This kingdom is Islam. The 10 horns are 10 kingdoms. I considered the horns and beheld there were cast among their little horn, and before him there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. That's Barak, the man of the revelation of Jesus Christ of St. John, chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life, in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image of the beast, which had been wounded by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save that he that had the mark of the name of the beast or number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Barack Hussein Obama. Jesus Christ is coming.
After 9/11, the U.S., Canada, and Mexico began what they call the Security and Prosperity Partnership, aimed at beefing up security on the borders without halting commerce. But some conservatives see it as a grand conspiracy by President Bush and others to erase our borders with Mexico and Canada and surrender our sovereignty to something called the North American Union. Chief Washington correspondent Jim Angle reports.
Bush administration is merging our sovereign, independent nation that our ancestors fought for. They're getting it away.
There is a fervent belief among some conservatives that President Bush is planning to dissolve the borders with Canada and Mexico as part of a secret effort to form what is called a North American Union.
I call it a stealth process. That's why I say the president is engineering, as it were, almost a coup d'etat, almost a change of government into a regional structure.
It is going to negate the sovereignty of the United States of America, and it certainly has grave concerns for our Constitution as well.
Those who subscribe to this idea use words like unconstitutional and even treason to describe what they see as an effort to create here something like the European Union with a single currency.
Losers, lunatics, demonic demagogues.
Michael Medved, a conservative pundit, ridicules these arguments as madness.
Nobody favors a North American Union. These people who come out from these rocks underneath which they've been scurrying cannot identify a single voice in our government, in our politics, or in our media who seriously wants to merge the U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
The debate is about something called the Security and Prosperity Partnership, or SPP, an effort announced in Waco in March 2005 by the leaders of the three nations to try to improve border security while removing barriers to legitimate trade. Working groups are trying to synchronize policies on everything from trade rules to managing cross-border diseases such as the avian flu or influenza. But some see something far more nefarious.
That's more than a dialogue, as the SPP.gov website shows. That's a shadow government in full operation, below the radar, and not fully disclosed to the public.
The man some call the godfather of a North American Union, though, says the whole effort was simply a search for how to efficiently deal with 500 million legal border crossings every year, as well as massive trade.
Last year, there was $926 billion in trade among the three countries. It's the largest amount of trade among any three countries in the world.
And he argues none of the changes people fear could possibly go into effect without passing through Congress.
All of these require the assent of Congress in all three countries. All of them would entail a very large debate in three countries. None of this could be done by stealth.
Some other conservatives aren't charging treason, but do have questions. Chris Farrell of Judicial Watch got some documents on the SPP through the Freedom of Information Act.
With little or no oversight, there are folks who will run amok, that they will exceed their authority, that they will go too far.
Michael Medved argues that buying into such nonsense, as he put it, does nothing but discredit conservatives. But Jerome Corsi wants a congressional investigation, and a few in Congress agree. Meanwhile, an administration official says rumors about a North American Union are completely false, that all that is going on is nothing more than an effort to coordinate better with our neighbors. Britt?
Well, we'll keep an eye on this, Jim. Thanks very much.
A new road is making its way through Indiana farmland.
In a couple of years, import and export goods are going to be zooming through these cornfields. This is going to be Interstate 69, the NAFTA superhighway, and it's going to connect Evansville to the Canadian border in the north and the Mexican border in the south.
The highway's designed to make it easier for companies in all three countries to get their goods to consumers.
Canada is the United States' largest customer. Two-way trade of goods and services with the U.S. was more than $645 billion last year. So the government says it makes sense that the countries have an agreement in place to make things run smoothly.
We think it is critical to the Canadian economy that we have trade with the U.S. We secure access to our market.
U.S. President Barack Obama and Prime Minister Stephen Harper kicked off negotiations toward a perimeter agreement 8 months ago.
The September 11th attacks had thickened the border between us, delaying shipments and increasing costs for goods we sell to one another.
At the core of this friendship is the largest bilateral trading relationship in history.
Coordination still. So later that day, Prime Minister Harper and President Obama launched a beyond the border set of negotiations.
The United States and Canada are not simply allies, not simply neighbors.
we are woven together like perhaps no other two countries in the world.
The goal, to better integrate our shared border to try to ease trade, boost security cooperation, and harmonize refugee standards. And that's pretty much the last anyone's heard of it. The goal was to announce an agreement by this summer. Then the target was a few weeks ago. Now, the target is reported to be mid-November. With so much secrecy around the talks, people are starting to speculate if they could go on indefinitely. Because the longer the delay, the deeper President Obama goes into re-election mode.
3 proud words: made in America.
He's already saying Canadians will be cut out of infrastructure build-outs in America.
Stamped with those 3 words, made in America.
Made in America. That's what we...
And then there's the group hoping to replace him. Republican presidential candidates pandering to the instinct to build walls and protect America first.
We've had a president responsible for this economy for the last 3 years, and he's failed us.
I will turn this country around. We will turn the economy around. We will create jobs.
We worry more about the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. We need to bring the Guard units home and the units back here so we can have more personnel on our border.
So with the political time clock ticking, the Harper government is pursuing a third way, an ambitious series of free trade negotiations with the European Union this week, but with all these other countries as well in every corner of the world. An insurance policy to ease our trade reliance on America.
The opposition says protectionist measures like those should be shelved before the government signs any perimeter agreement.
I'm saying play your cards smart. I'm saying you don't get suckered into signing something when they're going to whack you with some stuff from the side, and that's exactly what's happening.
Canadians lose out on jobs, the environment, natural resources, and privacy.
There are always going to be some kind of irritant, some kinds of irritant in the bilateral relationship. But
Jason Kenney says Canada can agree to a border deal while at the same time raise concerns about the Buy America provisions.
I think we're capable of walking and chewing gum at the same time.
The United States Congress will never, we repeat never, yield its jurisdiction over trade. And it hasn't and won't.
Pursuant to Clause 6 of Rule 18, further proceedings on the amendment offered by the gentleman from New Mexico will be postponed. For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona seek recognition?
Madam Chairwoman, I move to strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Madam Chairwoman, I rise today to engage in a colloquy with the subcommittee chairman, Congressman Carter, regarding Operation Stone Garden, which is a facet of our Homeland Security operations and which is provided for in the Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act for the fiscal year 2014. By way of background, Operation Stone Garden is a Department of Homeland Security grant program that is intended to provide a great deal of cooperation and coordination among federal, state, local, municipal, and tribal law enforcement agencies in a joint mission to secure the United States borders, including travel corridors and states that border Canada and Mexico, as well as states and territories with international water borders. The grants are made available to local units of government. They are made based on risk analysis and feasibility of the proposed investments demonstrated by the applicants. I speak on behalf of